The New York Post. Let our people go. Zohran Mamdani victory spurs Staten Island polls to renew bid to pull out of New York City. That's right, my friends. Staten Island wants to secede from the state of New York. From maybe not the state, but the city of New York, because it's a conservative enclave. It's relatively smaller or lower in population density, and they don't want to be in a city of communists. I would say this. They have had the conversation before. They've been pushing this bill. This is Lanza of Staten Island has been pushing a bill since 2008, seeing little traction. But now that it's swung so far left and people are fleeing, even Democrats may agree with this. The argument being, if Staten Island leaves, New York City becomes a socialist guarantee. You will never get a Republican or independent mayor again. Mm-hmm. Now, I got to be honest. I don't care about all that. I mean, it is bad if we have this entrenchment and this polarization. But I believe that if any part of this United States internally wants to secede from their respective jurisdiction and either isolate or join a new one, they should be allowed to do it.
Yeah.
If Staten Island says we want to be our own city, they should be federally allowed to do it by simple vote.
There's something really interesting that no one's talking about with the Staten Island thing, is if Staten Island were to secede from New York City, it would destroy the FDNY, because the fire department in New York, when you're becoming a firefighter, you take like a test and they give you bonus points for living within the 5 boroughs. And that like puts you above everybody else. Now, if Staten Island secedes, they lose those bonus points for living in New York City. The world's best firefighters are in Staten Island. It's completely eviscerated. The FDNY is going to be just full of like DMV employees.
Cops too, though.
The police department, yeah, but the fire department specifically rewards people for living in the 5 boroughs. Can you imagine what EMS is going to look like when it's just like DMV employees in charge of everything? Like New York City is going to become third world in so many different ways. This would be a massive hit.
This polarization is going to happen either way. People are either going to secede, like Staten Island's either going to get out, or these people are going to move somewhere else.
Yeah, I mean, that's the reason why New Jersey is even in play, is because so many New Yorkers that still need access to the city move across the river to New Jersey, because it's a slight improvement. And so, yeah, it's going to put Jersey and Connecticut into play more, because everyone talks about Florida, everyone knows that, but it's like a lot of people still need the city because they work in it, and it's just going to like benefit Republicans in Connecticut and New Jersey, but destroy New York City.
Has the Wu-Tang Clan made a comment yet about this?
No.
That's all I care about.
Have the Practical Jokers made a statement?
Take a look at this. New York and New Jersey lose hundreds of billions in resident income as Americans flee to low-tax states. This has been going on for some time. So Mamdani coming in, he says he wants New York City to have the highest, I think it was Mamdani, he wants New York City to have the highest corporate tax rate in the country, or it would rival New Jersey's corporate tax rate at around 11.7%. Companies are just going to leave.
Yeah.
I mean, do you see Delaware is already bleeding companies? Coinbase has announced they're leaving Delaware.
Yep.
Because an activist Democrat judge said, we can stop your company from functioning like a normal company. You know what really pissed me off about that? The shareholders voted to give Elon money and said, Elon, we want to give you money because we want our stock to go up. We want the company to succeed. He says, okay. You get one guy with a small handful of shares who sues, and the judge says, okay, the will of the shareholder is now gone because I said so. And I, as a shareholder, I can't sue to make it happen. Because a judge ruled it. I can't sue the judge, and I can't sue the company to make them pay because the company already wants to, but are blocked by this judge. These Democrat activists in politics are losing their minds, and they're going to burn their cities and states to the ground. We gloat about it, but this is going to create escape from New York. Maybe that's the plan. Maybe the real conspiracy among the elites is, how do we turn New York into a giant prison so we can have escape from New York with this, what's his name, Snake Plissken?
Snake Plissken, yeah.
That's right. We want it.
Yeah.
There's some guy right now in the Trump administration who was, 10 or 11 years old when that movie came out, and he's like, man, I really wish we had that. And he's colluding behind the scenes to make that happen, and maybe that's Zohran Mamdani.
Yeah,
maybe he just
close.
loved that movie.
Well, it's like, I mean, Democrats, they do want this. I mean, like a lot of Republicans scratch their heads like, you're going to destroy your city. You're going to you're going to destroy the business. It's like, yeah, so then all their opposition leaves and they have the city to themselves. Like, do you think barbecue down in Haiti wants to like improve the country? No, he wants to stay in power. Like,
And
that's what's
eat
going
people.
on. And he wants to eat people.
It
So
happened during
anything.
lockdowns. Everyone left the city.
Yeah,
a lot
the
of
Democrats
businesses
sweet.
died. Bill de Blasio bought up a lot of buildings,
Yeah.
and the ones he didn't buy, like the hotels, he kicked a lot of those hotels out and used them for illegals.
Yes.
And then the mayor gave them debit cards.
Yeah.
Who'd have thunk that the business environment of a particular region matters?
Yeah.
People will leave. This is something that the right, this is an argument that the right makes all the time. Look, if you do this, people will leave. Look, if you do this, people will leave. And the left says, no, they're not going anywhere. No, they're not going anywhere. Well, it's happening in Delaware right now. It's happening in New York right now. people have started to leave.
And New York's a particularly interesting example because this is a phenomenon that occurs across the Anglosphere. Is the biggest city in Anglosphere countries actually has a sizable conservative minority. So London has the same thing, Sydney has the same thing, Toronto has the same thing. And so what's happening now is they're trying to like overturn that because the biggest city in your country, I mean, a lot of people are saying like, oh, it's New York, let it collapse. It's like, yeah, this is the seat of our empire. Like we're talking about the biggest city that really exemplifies what America is, unfortunately, but it's just true. That's the way like your biggest city works. It's the flagship of your country. And so it's like, that's all they're trying to do here is they're trying to consolidate power because it'd be really demoralizing, quite frankly, like to completely eviscerate Giuliani's New York. The effect that would have, like I know a lot of people in chat are like, who cares in New York? But the average American likes to vacation in New York. They like to watch Fox News and see the city in the background. They say, wow, that's America. Wow, this is this beautiful city, et cetera, et cetera. Destroying that has a huge demoralizing effect on Americans, whether you like New York or not. It's just the reality.
Oh, yeah, and destroying New York City destroys the rest of New York, destroys the rest of the country. Like it has a ripple effect, and you can see it like when Paris did all their when they voted on the gas taxes and they started the Yellow Vest riots, one of the longest running riots. It was a lot of people from the rural areas that were getting impacted by ridiculous policies by the city people who don't care about them. And I mean, we're seeing a lot of that stuff happen around the world right now. Everyone should be paying attention. Like what went on in Mexico the other day is insane, because the violence is out of control. And I mean, that stuff could happen here at some point.
Yeah, I mean, like the UK is a good analog where it's like in their case, I mean, America's a lot of cities, but in the UK, like London is the city. So all they really have to do is destroy London, and that destroys the country because that's where all the young people go for jobs. That's where their culture comes out of, et cetera, et cetera. You name it. They only have to destroy one city. In America's case, we have backups, obviously, but New York City ultimately still is like where the culture comes out of, where a lot of our, I mean, a huge chunk of our GDP is concentrated in that tri-state area. It's like, again, I wish we could say just leave it. Like Chicago, you can experiment a little bit. You can chuck a socialist out. Let's see what happens. It's Chicago. What don't lose a NASCAR race.
City like that. How dare you, Tate?
I think we're dealing with fatigue across the board. I think people are politically fatigued. We are in, just after the presidential cycle, so people are pretty exhausted. But people, I think, are generally culture war fatigued. I've been hearing it quite a bit. And just recently something funny happened where at the casino here, Charlestown, they have commemorative John Brown chips. I know Shane's got this look on his face like, interesting. And, so one guy at the table was... I forgot what someone brought up that these that people will go online and buy these things or something, and then it came up, and I said I think it's actually kind of surprising they would do that because it's almost like they're honoring the guy. And then he said, well, I mean, maybe you don't want to praise him, but you don't denounce him. And I said, yes, you do. And then he's like, we can't do this. We can't get into politics. And I was like, not even 1860s politics.
Too soon.
Too soon. Yes. I guess I brought it up because I thought it was a funny scenario where it's like we can't debate 1855.
It's not that you can't debate 1855 politics. It's you can't debate anything that the left holds dear.
Well, I don't think that this guy was necessarily a lefty. I think it was, he said we can't do this because everyone is sick of politics. And it was like, he's like, we're going to get into it. Let's just play this game and have a good time. And I'm like, I hear you.
But I mean, we can denounce, we don't have to kill people, but John Brown also hated slavery. That was a nice thing.
Now we're in the debate.
Yeah.
the issue with the right on the Harper's Ferry Armory is one thing, but his entire legacy of what was happening in Bleeding Kansas is nightmarish. I mean, John Brown and his sons and these other people involved, they murdered journalists. They went to like printing presses and just it was back and forth. I mean, pro-slavery forces were massacring innocent people in farms. Anti-slavery people go to farms and kill people. But I'm not here to have that debate.
Yeah.
But, I just want to point out, my point is that I think people are generally just like, I don't want to hear it, dude. I'm so just burned on all of this. I think the issue is it feels like nothing's happening. It feels like, I feel like a rag being squeezed as hard as possible with the last little bit of water out of it. And I'm just waiting for that pop to be like, we've done it. There's a light at the end of the tunnel, and it feels like it ain't there.
I think we're on the edge of something even crazier. I mean, it's just because I think that is a whole other problem. But like, I feel like we are on the edge of something major. Like there's what you're talking about, the people who don't want to talk about politics anymore, I think that's almost by design. It's been pumped into everyone's heads. We've been trapped in an election cycle for 15 years, right? Usually, like growing up, I remember election cycles would be like 4 years. We take a little breather. And I was younger, obviously, but I was always a political junkie. And since Trump, since like 2014, 2015, it's never stopped. The media, everyone went crazy. And I think they took advantage of that. They hijacked the algorithm, social media. Everyone went insane. I think part of that is by design to make it so everyone gives up and then stops paying attention. And then something happens.
I wonder if a lot of it was, the story of Obama using Facebook to help him win in 2008 is that a young whippersnapper went to him and said, "Are you using social media?" And they were like, "We don't know what that is," because they're older. They weren't paying attention. And so they decided to start campaigning on social media, and it helped them turn out more of the youth vote, which wasn't like the principal factor, but it was a big deal. Everyone talked about it. I wonder if Democrats after that point said, "We need to own this. This will rally people." And this created the phenomenon that started driving wokeness and ultimately helped Trump win because people were annoyed by it.
Because they did a short-term benefit. They were like, we can take over this to win for a while, and they did.
All right, I'm going to let you guys in on a not-so-secret. On, Thursday last week, the Culture War interview was with Ben Davidson about the solar storm. 200 and some odd thousand views.
Wow.
Typically, when we do interviews on the show, it's maybe 80 to 100.
Yeah.
I think people are just... I think there's a couple things. One, when it comes to the political issues, it's just like I've heard this 100 million times. Arguments about tariffs have been going on now for longer than a year, with them in effect for about a year. Okay. And the political violence stuff is just ramping up. I mean, I'll be honest, it's how I feel. I see people in the chat are saying something to that effect as well. I feel like we're all just, at a certain point, you can only say the same thing.
Yeah.
Where people are like, give me a solution, solve the problem, or talk to me about football.
Yeah, literally. It used to be like politics was for nerds, like guys that would wear suits to school. And then it turned into a blood sport. Like everyone was tuning in at night for all these shows and everything. And now we're kind of going back to like maybe the nerds get scored.
I do. I agree. I think when you look at that young kid everyone's been ragging on, what's his name? Brylan Hollihan. Yeah. And I don't mean to rag on him. I'm not trying to be disrespectful. But conservatives have always come off as stodgy suit-wearing, boring dudes. And they were the ones who were talking high-level politics, and Democrats were the ones who were tugging at your heartstrings, being like, but look, little kid's crying. We have to burn the Constitution. And people were like, okay. Republicans now seem to be drifting back into that space. Thanks for checking out this clip from Timcast IRL. Make sure to watch the show live Monday through Friday at 8 p.m. Subscribe to this channel, and we will see you all there.